We have all sorts of missiles and things that can take out the arms. And if we see people maneuvering with arms, even at night, we can take them out from the air, and we don't have to have anybody on the ground, so it doesn't put anyone unduly within America at risk. This is pretty much what we did when we went into North Africa and took out the political leader there. And so it can be done, is what I'm saying. It's a police action, quote unquote. I know the use of police actions in the United States have been very much derided, especially since the Vietnam War, because that was a police action, and we know how that turned out with 52 or 53,000 Americans dying in those wars. But we also, never got anything done there because of the political involvement of everybody and the situation there on the ground. It was just, it's pretty much unwinnable unless we wanted to take on the North Vietnamese, which we did, and the Chinese who were arming them. We would have had to escalate that war to a much higher level. So anyway, just this whole Syrian thing, the only way I can see to win it is to win it from the air and through our technology, and take them out all, tell everybody to stop fighting. That means both sides take out their ability to command and control, take out their ability to move, take out their ability to conduct operations. And then after that is done, to the most part, we then send a group, a united quote unquote nations group, UN peacekeeping group, whatever, and help them to set up a new government, whatever that may be, whether it's a democratic government or what. That's about the only way to do it, in my mind, that I see. And I know there are probably people out there who are fuming right now at me and don't agree with what I just said. You can give me a call at 561-623-9429. And I just like to say, we need to also look at this thing with the eye towards what's happening in the Middle East and Israel's involvement there. Israel is a nation of people. They are God's chosen people, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear that because they don't agree with that, especially the Muslim people. They don't like hear that, and many of them are sworn to defeat the little Satan, Israel, and the great Satan, the United States, who protects Israel. Israel's in a precarious place right now because the current leadership in our government isn't supporting them like past administrations have. And we know from just biblical teaching and just, and I know I'm spouting the Bible right now, and a lot of people don't like this either, but in history, Israel has been a nation that has been led by God. It is supposed to be a theocracy. Obviously, they have a political government there in Israel right now, but God is actually at the head of that country, and He protects that country. If you don't believe me, look in your history books and look at the 6-Day War, and tell me how in the world the Israeli people were able to do what they did without the protection of God. There was something that happened there. And anybody that touches God's people will receive His wrath. And I can see, in the Middle East, all these countries around Israel that are now in turmoil in the Middle East, it's just, a really tenuous situation. It puts Israel in a really bad position. One of the issues that's coming up right now, and President Bush made a great deal of this, and we don't hardly hear anything anymore out of it from President Obama's leadership, is that the nuclear weapons that are being developed by Iran, who has said that they're waiting for the 12th Imam, basically, who will be part of the destruction of the world. And they believe the 12th Imam is coming, and that they are dedicated and have stated, President Ahmadinejad, I believe is his name, has stated that he wants to see Israel destroyed. And they're developing nuclear weapons, and if they get nuclear weapons, I'm sure Israel will take a unilateral strike against Iran when this happens. So, with this whole situation there in Syria, it's a very, very tenuous and very stressful situation. You know, we need to pray for the people of Israel and Syria that, God will sort this thing out and that justice will be done. My show is to draw attention to human rights abuses and injustices everywhere, and I'm drawing attention to these gas attacks. These are wrong. These weapons of mass destruction should not be used against anyone in the world, including America using them. I do not believe use of nuclear weapons or chemical weapons is justified. It just is a horrible thing when we see these types of things happening. So anyway, President Obama is wanting to go to the Congress to get approval. According to the Constitution, he doesn't need to do that unless he has the right to, begin hostilities and without consulting Congress. Congress's only recourse is to basically not so much ratify, but to provide funding for these types of situations where the military is needed somewhere in the world, either to defend ourselves or to defend another nation or a people group that's being wronged. Congress can provide the money or withhold the money for these things that go on that the president wants to have military action taken. We saw this work perfectly in World War II when the United States wanted to increase our military because prior to World War II, it wasn't as huge as it is now today. We needed to train soldiers and bring on training bases and everything else. And Congress appropriated the money after the president went to them and asked, and we started building up our defense organizations and our military to the point where we could take on Japan and Hitler, and which we did. And we're successful with God's help to overcome these, groups. So that's how that's supposed to work. So the president can unilaterally declare, either a war / peace or police action. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. He can do this on his own, and he has the ability to move money around within the Pentagon to pay for these operations up to a certain point. And then at that point, that's usually 3, 6 months, a year down the road. The president then has to come to the Congress and say, hey, we need some appropriation for this, and that's when they get involved. So that's enough on Syria. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact me at humanrightsandjusticeforall@gmail.com, or you can give me a call at 315-744-0007. That is my personal cell phone. You reach me directly. Also, if you'd like to call in today's show, you can call in at 561-623-9429. Again, that number is 561-623-9429. And I'd like to appeal to those out there who are spiritual and have believe that they're people who can hear from God, that if you feel the Lord speaking to you to call in and just talk with me on the air about whatever you feel led to talk about, I'll give you some time to do that. Again, that number is 561-623-9429. You might say, Greg, why do you have such a religious bent on this show? I mean, you're turning people off, whatever. The reason I do what I do is because I'm convicted in my heart that what I believe is right, and everybody out there is convicted in their own heart that what they believe is right. But I do things not with any concern with regard to what other people think about it, how it's going to affect the show. Obviously, I need money for this show to progress, and that to date, I haven't received a cent towards the show to keep it going. I'm paying for it out of my own pocket. It is quite substantial. And but I believe it's something that God wants me to do. So God wants me to get this information out there. After a year's time, the price of this thing's really going to shoot up, and I'm going to need that support. And even right now, there's a desperate need right now within the next couple of weeks for a pretty good sum of money to cover the cost of the show for the coming year and the next 9 months. And I would like to have you contact me and get me on my Facebook page. It's under Gregory T. Malone. Gregory T. Malone. I'm on Facebook. You can contact me there. If you want to contact me through my phone number at 315-744-0007, you can do that. And I will also be able to work with you to send in funds via some of the software programs that are out there. It's very quick and very easy. If you'd like to do that, there are, again, 4.5 million listeners to this station, and this message is going out to a lot of different people and different people groups. And I believe it is a true ministry, and to be able to speak to the people out there who are, in need of hearing a show like this and an opinion and views from a person like me who believes in God and wants to see justice be done and people be saved from all sorts of abuses and also even saved if they find themselves in a position where they don't know Jesus Christ and what he did for them. I'd like to see them saved. I'm not going to put much more into it other than that, but just to say that I hope that you do trust in him someday, even today. And if you'd like to contact me on how to do that, you can contact me on how to do that. But again, I appeal out there for people to support. Like I said, nobody's done it so far. I've been on the air quite a few shows now, several months. And we need support to continue this operation. I believe we're doing good things. I've gone into Detroit personally, myself and my wife, hugged people on the street, talked to them about what's going on there in Detroit with their financial situation. I'm in contact with those people, and if you're listening to me today in Detroit, I say to you, keep the faith. Help is coming, and I believe that will not be too far off. So let's go on to the next subject today, which I have is Child Protective Services in Chicago has now mandated that there be sex ed education for kindergartners. Now, I don't have so much of a problem with this, especially with regard to educating children in prevention of abuse, of sexual abuse, and of learning the correct names for their body parts and that type of thing. I don't have too much of a problem with that, as long as it's kept very generic and non-graphic. I don't have too much of a problem with that. But one of the things, there's several things about this sex ed training that's going on in Chicago, and this is again part of this agenda and why